Hello, everyone. My name is Patrick Leonard. I am the director and producer of Close for the Weekend. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Let's see. My writer, Jordan Graves, wrote a great script about basically what we think is a spy or works for a big government agency who has become a bit of a turncoat. She is on a timer, and we don't necessarily know why, because the group that she actually used to work for is actually on the run trying to hunt her down. She has amnesia, and because she was running and tripped over, fell, hit her head on a rock. So she's trying to figure everything out as she goes along. And as she does that, you, the audience, are kind of, it's a little bit of a mystery wrapped up in 8 minutes of what exactly is kind of taking place.
Awesome. When I started this film festival season for this year, you handed in like 3 films. You were very busy in the last year, it seemed.
I was.
And they're all a little bit different too. How'd you balance that out?
That's a great question. I don't know how. I shot all 3 of them 2 years ago before the pandemic settled in, so I didn't have to necessarily worry about that stuff. In regards to all 3, one of them was a drama that a friend of mine, or actually wasn't even really a friend at the time, he came to me and came to my production company and said, "Hey, I saw that you kind of make your own films and things like that, and I'm looking to kind of start off myself. Can you kind of show me, what you did and things like that?" So I jumped on board and helped him with his. And, one of the deals was that I was to direct, and he was all for it. In regards to the horror movie that I made, it's called Love Me Tinder. That was something that I wrote a couple of years ago that I've always wanted to produce, and finally got up enough nerve and guts to actually put it together. In regards to Close for the Weekend, it was something that was actually part of another here in Chicago. There is a small production company called Talus Films, and they were trying to get their foot in the door. And they had a very ambitious project in which they decided to make 12 films in 12 months. So they had 12 different directors and 12 different writers and things like that. And they just kind of did it for themselves, and then they had a little free night where they showed it off, and it went really well. And I said, well, I really like the film that I made for you guys, and I really want to see where it goes from here. So they gave me their blessing and said, go ahead, let's do it up. And I just started submitting and things like that. And I knew that there were some certain festivals such as yours that I definitely wanted to submit to, because I really liked, the festival itself. And I thought that these pieces, might fit into particularly your fest. So that's why I sent them. It was definitely tricky, though. There was a lot of challenges for sure.
Well, thank you for sending them. This was, I felt this was different than the stuff I've seen you do before, because you sent me dramas before, like Sunrise.
Right.
And this is almost a full-on action film.
Yeah.
It's a pretty well done action film too.
Thanks.
And the action, the actors doing this stuff, are they trained in action, or did they have to rehearse quite a bit?
They are not trained in action. Actually, I am. So I took a lot of stage combat classes when I was going through school and things like that. I knew I wanted a good stunt coordinator on set, and I definitely had very specific ideas as to how our fight was going to kind of play out in the film. I obviously let her coordinate the whole thing, meaning my fight choreographer. But then, when it came to certain things within the fight, which I won't reveal here, you're going to have to see the movie. I was very specific with that, and she said, "Hey, this shouldn't be a problem at all." One of our actors did have a little bit of fight combat experience, but not much. And so it was definitely on the fly type of thing. I tried to make it as easy, and we tried to make it as easy as possible for our performers. But, my biggest thing was selling it, just sell the intention, sell the intensity of the scene and everything like that. And if you do that correctly, the way that I know you can as actors, then I think that our audience will definitely believe it.
That's half
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That, I mean, selling the intensity is half the battle and making action look right.
Right, absolutely. And I knew that it would be tricky because we shot it in a corridor or behind a building kind of thing. So there wasn't a lot of room for, it was basically myself, my DP, and my gaffer, who was basically just bouncing lights off of their lights and things like that. And then my actors. So we had to push everybody else that was part of the crew to the front just because we didn't have a lot of room and we had to make enough room for everybody. But yeah, once they really got, I think it probably took about an hour to two to really rehearse it. And then, you know, to shoot it and everything, about another 2 to 3 hours. But they were really like gung ho. And they were just like, even when they'd make a glitch, they would stop, they would reset, they would keep going. You know, I didn't have to do anything other than telling my DP, just follow them. Just make sure that you stay out of their way and follow them, because our stunt coordinator has them locked in. Let's just get the hell out of the way. And that's what we did.
You mentioned briefly your background as a fight coordinator, but you also been a professional actor in Chicago for 25 years or more.
I have.
Now you've kind of switched over and to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
What kind, I mean, that's actor to filmmaker. I know some people who have done that, but explain the shifting in gears and thinking and changing a process for that.
Absolutely. Well, I would say the one thing that I definitely held on to is that I don't have the technical background that filmmakers have. You know, I didn't go to film school. I don't know really a whole lot about a camera, to be absolutely honest, but I know how to act. I've been learning how to do that for 30 years now. And so I just, you know, the one thing that I made a contract with myself when I was getting into the filmmaking aspect is that I was going to bring in people that I trust, but people that know their stuff. I knew that I was good with actors and that I could talk to actors. So I think that was a strength that I brought to the table, that I knew that I could convey on screen or get my actors to convey on screen exactly what either I wrote or what somebody else wrote. And I can do it in a way, because I've been doing this for so long, you know, that's going to be really believable. And I think, you know, the film itself will do really well because of that. Because I have noticed in being involved in this, in the film festival world, that technically a lot of films are beautifully shot and beautifully crafted, but the acting is less than stellar. And I absolutely made it a goal to say that I may not necessarily know what I'm doing with a camera just yet, but I'm learning that aspect. I will say this, I will tell my story well, though. It may not look the best. That's okay. You know, I can forgive myself for that because I'm learning still. But I do know that I surround myself with really talented actors, and I know how to talk to them.
Well, thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you.
Hope you had a nice time doing this, and we enjoyed your film.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm sorry for the tardiness and sorry for all of the mishaps and whatnot, but I'm really excited to be a part of this year's festival. Thank you again for having us on board. We're really excited, and I'm hoping to see you on Thursday night.